Alright, so once again, I'm live. Coming in. A lot of stuff going on. Um, but nevertheless, as I say, it's just another day in life, right? Oh, or just another day in life. You have to take it day by day, right? So, you know, sometimes things you hear be like, man, um, man, what in the world? What in the world is going on? So, when I look at this, a little different, but if you take it as what it is, you'll see it for what it is, right? When you see it for what it is, that's when you find out. How to distinguish the lie from the truth and the truth from the lie, things like that. I was talking to a guy yesterday. And he was talking about uh, a lot of stuff to me. Some stuff that was concerning, some stuff that wasn't, and some stuff I'm like, man, wow. So I got a guy I know got breast cancer. I said, what in the hell is going on? But at the same time, then I was like, not really. But not really. So he made this about this guy. He's got breast cancer, whatever. So
Lewis. I have grown up in West Virginia. I worked as a commercial artist for many years, and now I work in oils and acrylics and tactile art for wall sculptures and things. Back in 2012, I had a very persistent cough and cold symptoms. And so one night, I am lying in bed with my wife. She's sound asleep. I begin to cough and heave and try to get air. And I sit up and I grab my chest. And when I grabbed my chest, I felt a lump. And it was at that point, almost instantly, and I don't know why, but I knew that I had breast cancer. When I approached the doctor, he said, well, you don't have breast cancer. Men don't get breast cancer. I said, well, I want to have some tests run. And they kept coming back inconclusive, inconclusive, inconclusive. And finally, then after an open biopsy, it was determined that, yes, you do have breast cancer. My wife was beside me, and the first words out of her mouth was, how are we ever going to plan on anything ever again in our life? And I said, well, honey, what did we do yesterday? Really, I say that breast cancer saved my life, and the big reason is because in the pre-op testing, they discovered that I had to have open heart surgery. So not only did they address the cancer, but then 3 months later, they had to address an open heart surgery. In March of 2016, it was kind of ironic. I was going in for some very routine cosmetic surgery. And in the process of that, they did a routine series of x-rays. And lo and behold, my lungs suddenly lit up with cancer nodes everywhere. So the cancer had returned. It had metastasized into both lungs and into my spine. It was a little alarming, to say the least. I have a very strong faith. I guess I cling to that as a way to deal with things. I have an oncologist who had seen me for the 2012, and she said, well, we need to start you on a regimen, and we'll do that for a 15-week period. On November the 4th of 2016, she calls me. I had just had scans done, so you have that little bit of anxiety that goes with that. And she says, I've got good news and I've got great news. And I said, okay, well, tell me, you know what? And she said, well, the good news is you got into the trial. She said, the great news is she says, I don't think they're going to want you. And I'm like, how is that great news? And she said, because you have no signs of cancer. And I'm like, how does this happen? So I was no evidence of disease. For me, I didn't make it to 36 months. I made it to 34 months. And then I had a return now in my lung. And of course, it's progression. Anybody that's metastatic, sure, we would love a cure. But what we really want is to stop progression. It's as good as gold for us. I started a new drug, a daily oral medicine that I take for 21 days, and then I'm off 10 days. It's Ibrance. I seem to be able to handle it well. My scans show no progression, so they're stable. And like I said, if you can have that, what more can you ask for? Life doesn't end when you get a terminal diagnosis. I'm still here. And I hope that I'm doing something productive. I hope that by being here today, that this is going to have an impact. And if that's not living, I don't know what is.
I was just getting a routine, my annual physical, and I noticed that there was a bump on my chest that I had my physician take a look at. At that point, she recommended that I go to imaging to get it checked out and have an ultrasound. When they made the appointment, it was for an ultrasound. When I arrived, they said, we're doing a mammogram. And so I'm like, that's not really what I came for. But ultimately, they did the mammogram. And then in that same day, they had to go back and do the ultrasound anyway. So I got all the full meal deal. Now, 6 months prior, my niece was diagnosed with breast cancer while she was pregnant. And so as a family, we bonded together to support her and all that. So of course I did have concerns right off, but I tried to tell myself it's nothing, won't be a big deal. So shortly after my imaging results, I was called by Baylor Scott and White, one of the nurses, to schedule a biopsy. It was tough at first, to have them let you know, hey, this is cancerous and we need to do something about it. My initial reaction to it being breast cancer was um, pretty much, I've never known any man with breast cancer. So it's like I hit the wrong lotto. And, breast cancer, wow. So I found out that it was a real thing. It does occur. Facing the reality of it was one of the tougher times in the whole situation for me because I didn't know what was next. I finally came to Baylor and I had a sit down and meet with the doctor, my wife and I. That is when the whole thing was kind of broken down to me. And she did a great job of explaining exactly where I was at, giving options of how I want to proceed with my care going forward. I chose to go the double mastectomy route because it was such a low rate of return for the cancer. And the last thing I wanted to do was come back and go through it again. And once the tumor was removed, they sent the tumor off to be tested. And an interesting thing is that my breast cancer results came back exactly like my niece's. Because of the test results, chemotherapy was recommended that I would have to go through some treatments. And once again, I said, okay. And my wife boo-hooed, made an appointment to have a port inserted. That is how they administered the chemotherapy. Final outcome for me was to be able to ring the bell. I fought really hard to get to that point. And really my inspiration for that was my niece that I spoke about earlier. She actually had a single mastectomy while pregnant. She had a healthy baby boy, and she proceeded and completed all of her treatment and was able to ring the bell. And she's doing great. She just laid the foundation for how to go through something like this, and it's made me a stronger person. Breast cancer, for me, it's had not only a negative effect in a sense, but a positive effect on my life. And I say that because you don't realize sometimes the support that you have until you need it. My support staff or team, as I call them, unreplaceable, did everything mentally and physically that they could for me when I needed them. I have a beautiful wife, two beautiful kids, and a huge family that loves me, and I love them. So at this point, a year later, I am 100% sure that Baylor Scott White was the best solution for me. It was the best care that I could have chosen throughout this process. I came to the right place. I've met some great people, some people that have impacted my life, and I hope that I may have made them smile once or twice during my time here too.
Uh, Interesting. So that would just set my fan out this week. interesting story to say the least. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. We call it cyberbullying. Mine's not coming up right there. So this is about Minority Report.
This is a metal roof, and this is a metal roof, and you guessed it, this is a metal roof.
Steven Spielberg.
So this is about, employees spying on me and stuff like that. Employers, excuse me, not employees. Employers. And very interesting. I looked into it. But this cyberbullying thing is actually a real thing. I would say it's a real thing, and I think it's overhyped too as well. So, It's overhyped to be used for different advantages. So, good and for bad. In a lot of cases, it can be used for bad. So, when you get, like, not understanding what's going on, then you gonna have these type of issues, right? And type of issues persist quite a bit. Yeah. As long as this issue persists, what are you gonna do about it? As they say, right? So I'll replay the video.
Spielberg's action thriller Minority Report tells the story of the Washington, D.C. pre-crime unit, whose job it was to arrest people before they commit a crime based purely on what they were predicted to do. When the movie came out in 2002, it was classified as science fiction, but if it were being released today, it might better be described as a documentary. In this video, I am going to discuss a US-based, privately held company run by data brokers, a former member of the US military, and a former employee of the CIA, who are offering pre-crime type services to employers who want to continuously monitor their employees' legal, financial, online, and social lives. Of course, all of this is being done in the name of safety and security. I am Dr. John Padfield, an engineer turned state representative turned business professor, and this is Business Reform, where we discuss issues at the intersection of business, technology, and society. I have worked as a consultant for numerous clients, including law enforcement agencies, and several organizations I cannot discuss due to non-disclosure agreements. One of my clients required me to undergo a thorough background check that included me having to submit my fingerprints to a 3-letter agency. This was a requirement because of the sensitivity of the data I would be working with for that client. I really wanted to lead that project for that client, and I have nothing to hide, so I consented to undergo the background check. I passed the background check, successfully completed the project, and went on to lead 2 more additional projects for that client. But I will never accept work from a client who requires me to consent to the dystopian continuous surveillance conducted by ClearForce.
Who's coming in the driveway?
ClearForce was founded in 2015, and they specialize in monitoring the personal lives of employees to predict when they may become a security risk so companies can deal with them before they do anything wrong. I think it is time to update the worn-out cliche, if you aren't doing anything wrong, you may still get fired for what you might do. According to their website, ClearForce's patented Resolve platform, quote, proactively identifies potential threats before they become a problem. Human risk signals across multiple sources are reported in real time. Discovery and resolution are automated with learning intelligence. Just so we are all on the same page, proactively means taking action before something happens. Just like the pre-crime unit and Minority Report arrested people who were then automatically convicted and sentenced for crimes they were predicted to commit rather than crimes they had committed. Again, quoting from their website, one-time background checks are not enough. Businesses moving to ongoing, continuous evaluation of employees and contractors. You need modern automation, data, and compliance. Continuous evaluation sounds a whole lot nicer than saying continuous surveillance of employees. Regardless of what marketing term ClearForce wants to use to describe their services, how do they perform this level of predictive behavioral analysis? ClearForce uses, quote, multiple public and proprietary risk alert sources from thousands of locations unified in a simple interface for rapid investigation. Support for structured and unstructured data formats across criminal, financial, social, internal, and other risk sources. They offer 6 categories of risk data, and each category can include multiple sources to choose from. So let's take a look at just a couple of them. Social media data includes adverse media, open internet postings, and dark web activity. This data is unstructured, and we look for patterns, sentiment, and keywords to score risk and provide real-time social media threat intelligence. But my favorite part of their service falls under the category of, quote, social determinants of health, which includes, quote, an extensive collection of patient-level data that provides ClearForce with high-quality data to analyze and model hundreds of environmental, financial, legal, and other risk factors of an individual. As always, links to all my sources can be found in the description of this video. How this all works is not a secret. It is laid out in the U.S. patent ClearForce applied for in June 2021 and was granted in April 2024. The abstract of that patent begins, quote, systems, methods, and computer machines for electronically monitoring an employee's behavior to identify risk are described. They then go on to describe how they determine anomalies associated with the employees they are monitoring and how they generate alerts based on those anomalies. Their patent even includes numerous diagrams explaining at a high level how the data is processed and how alerts are generated to notify the employer that the employee may have become a security threat because of something they posted online or because they are getting divorced or had a lien issued against them. Their patent even includes a nice diagram showing dashboards of which employees are deemed to be a risk and why. This company is collecting a tremendous amount of extremely sensitive personal data on their clients' employees from what they describe as, quote, thousands of locations. You may be wondering, how did they get access to all this data?
What's up, man?
What up, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Shoot, man. Just looking at playing this video about what do you call it? Like it's like almost like Minority Report.
Yeah, I was hearing that, man, and I was just thinking, well, they made that movie for a reason. These movies come out a long time in advance, and you know that movie came out a while ago, bro.
Yeah, it did come out a while ago, didn't it?
So it's just like, I mean, it's just training you. You know what I'm saying? Getting you ready. Excuse me. Getting you ready. Basically, just getting you ready. Getting you accepting your mind, your subconscious. Putting the thought and idea. Getting you comfortable with it. That's all.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically saying your employees can spy on you and know if you're coming to work before you come to work. But when I know you're coming to work, you come to work.
Just like the system, right? The system They teach you a bunch of socialist stuff in school and try to act like, you know, they don't teach you nothing about any of the real world. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you anything about the real world, but a bunch of indoctrination and a bunch of memory and muscle memory and memorizing something. And you see what I'm saying? And regurgitating it or listening to stuff, you know what I'm saying? And re-regurgitating information. That's all it is to me.
You said regurgitating information.
Oh yeah. So,
you got a good point, Dan. Yeah, I just happened. Yeah, I was just happened. You know, I ran across it and stuff like that. And I said, you know what, it's kind of interesting. But one thing about the minority report thing, you really look at it, you've been in that for a while. So ain't nothing surprising about it, but let me play this right quick.
And who is behind all of this? To answer both questions, let's turn our attention to the people leading this company, their board of directors. We will start with Dan Adams. In January 2016, Dan Adams assumed the role of president of Equifax Global Consumer Solutions. Previously, Dan was president of Equifax Consumer Information Solutions, which provides consumer information and insights specifically in the area of risk management. Prior to this role, Dan was responsible for Equifax North America Information Services. So ClearForce's first board member is a longtime data broker from Equifax who specialized in information services and risk management. He served as president over various divisions of Equifax from 2005 through 2020. That means he was serving as president for the 12 years leading up to the 2017 data breach at Equifax that exposed sensitive information on more than 147 million consumers and demonstrated how little control Americans have over their personal data. Equifax was forced to pay $650 million in the largest ever data breach settlement at that time, which works out to $4.42 per victim. But because part of that money went to lawyers, the victims probably received closer to $3 each on average. Then there is board member Harry Gamble. His experience includes serving as the president and CEO of TransUnion from 1992 to 2007. In April 2001, 9 years after Mr. Gamble took over leadership of TransUnion, the company was caught by the Federal Trade Commission illegally selling consumer data to marketers. Mr. Gamble was also a director at Axiom from 1992 to 2006. That means he was on Axiom's board when they experienced what the Department of Justice believes to have been the largest ever data breach of personal data as of 2004. The ClearForce board of directors also includes Norman Willix Jr., who is the former chief privacy officer of LexisNexis. That is the same LexisNexis that was sued for illegally collecting and selling people's personal information in August 2022, and was hit with a privacy class action lawsuit in 2024. And LexisNexis was also sued by New Jersey law enforcement officers in 2024 for violating Daniels Law, a New Jersey law that requires data brokers to remove the personal data of current and former police officers, prosecutors.
So you see how treacherous this thing can be.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is, I'm telling you.
Very,
They kind of low key been doing that, man. Selling, you know what I'm saying? Just like saying, like when you apply for a job, same thing. They sell your information. You get spam call. I'm telling you, man. Just like when you on a job and they what's the name? You on a job and they'll get you insured. Like why are you you know what I'm saying? Why is your job getting you insured? You know what I mean? life insurance and all that, like, and you won't even know about it. Well, I tell you.
You got a point there.
Bro. This is all a scam. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, it's a big scam there. That is a big scam. But I mean, people gotta know it's a scam first, right?
True.
But a lot of people will give up the information just to be happy. If you really think about it. Say, hey, I'm just giving them the information. That's all. You know.
Telling you, man, it's just this is too much, man. This is too much. We just Well, see, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't do no two-party system shit, man. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with people, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta move, we gotta change, move. So if you really want to, want change, and you really want to be on some shit, man, get your own party. Simple as that. You see what I'm saying? It's that simple. Get your own party going. If you really want to change shit, it's like, and see, the thing about this, these corporations, they paying off the damn politicians. That's how you know you need it's something. There's it's not like they just paying off the Democrats or the Republicans. They're paying off both. That's why I don't look at, man. I'll mess around this. I'm gonna send you a clip. Dewan B did a dope show last night, bro. I don't know if you watched Dewan B. He broke it down. Dewan B broke it down. They be making billions of dollars.
Matter of fact, you talking about Dewan B out there in California?
Yeah, they be making billions of dollars. These people that made billions of dollars.
I know him. Yeah, actually, I got his number somewhere.
They got it. Yeah, you might have to get them on, man. You know what I mean? But they made billions of dollars basically off shutting us out. You see what I'm saying? That's $1 billion industry. So you rather give illegals and you got to rather give these people all this healthcare and all this stuff and spend billions of dollars. Like Karen Bass spent billions of dollars on the healthcare and all this benefits and all this BS for these damn illegals. And hiring these people rather than giving us jobs and giving us see, they take the resources. I was on a panel yesterday, and we was having a debate about that. They take the resources from that's the main thing we need in these damn urban, whatever you want to call it, in these hoods. We need resources, man. And that's why I don't really mess with a lot of these other races, other groups, whatever you want to call them, because they know that they out-resource us. They know that, and then they want to throw in your face, oh, why don't you stop complaining, or why don't you this and that? That's why I don't mess with a lot of these. I don't mess with these other races like that. I got some friends that are, other races, whatever, but that.
Well, here's the thing.
A pinch.
To be honest with you. To be honest with you, the land is the resource, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You talking about the corporations taking the resource for the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is true, but the people don't know about the resources, and it's already been brought.
Mm.
The land has already been paid for in full.
Mm.
So now, how you get the land back? Could it be busting his head and twisting some kneecaps, maybe? Drop an anvil on somebody's head, just tell me something.
Facts. But like I said, man, we gotta form our own political party. We gotta change everything. Everything has to change. Like this dude in New York, what's the Zohan, whatever, Zohan, don't mess with the Zohan, wherever his name is. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with a lot of that stuff, right? But he's bought and paid for it too. But see, this is the thing though. He's getting attention because of the socialist views and ideology. He's getting attention because of the different aspect that he's coming from. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, so I think a lot of people really do want change, man. A lot of people are just so stupid and so ignorant. A lot of us think from the white man's perspective. We think from the white politicians' perspective. We think from their mindset. Like for example, we have a problem with social programs, and we have a problem with medical care and welfare and stuff like that. But yet we don't have a problem when these billionaires get it. I think that's some weird shit.
Now,
Really weird.
I'm gonna tell you something I didn't particularly care for with that situation. You talking about the guy in New York, right?
Mm-hmm. Talking about the stores.
Yeah, that's a little, that's kind of weird, but that's like way off. But you know, we got people that saying that this guy, didn't you got people online that's saying what's these little conservative clowns, they be on like Charlie Kirk and them and all them type of guys talking about that they need to check into it, you know, and it's a Muslim running for office and he should be allowed to run or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, yeah, but I mean, Cuomo lost to him in the primary, but Cuomo will still run on the same ballot as independent. So if you moved him out the way, wouldn't that mean Cuomo won? And then that would be somebody who was in charge of that nursing home thing. So why is Cuomo even still walking around?
And then sex scandal. He had a sex scandal with 11 women. Remember that? Masonic 11. You notice how they hit you with 11, right?
Yeah.
See, that's not a black. I don't like saying that word black. That's not a carbon copied, highly melanated person though. That's you know what I'm saying? A white dudes, Italian, that's all the same. So so it's different rules. You see what I'm saying? And see how you're right. People are quiet about how Cuomo is still around, bro. Nobody is not calling this dude out.
But the fact that he ran the primary, and you got people that upset the other dude won. I'm like, hey, look. Like, dog, like, well, if that's the case, then Cuomo in the primary, so what would you been saying then? Then you've been mad about that, so he did. And I can tell you the truth, they still got to run against Eric Adams for mayor, so it's kind of like, okay. This was just a primary, bro.
They're hyping it up, huh? They're acting like it's all over with.
Yeah,
But see, that's the news. Just like when the news gives cover to these immigrants out here, they're sympathetic and empathetic to these immigrants. Oh man, raid and ICE and took it all. They all sympathetic, but guess who's the reporter is? It's a Mexican. So I get it. It makes sense. You get the Mexican reporter out there. You know what I'm saying? Give them sympathy and empathy. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? No sympathy and empathy for no black people in California. We doing the worst out of everybody in California. Everybody quiet about that. You know what I'm saying? People like Karen Bass. Karen Bass is getting sued. I really think she should be in jail, in my opinion. People like that. But see, we'll sue Gavin Newsom too. Isn't he the governor of the state? Or are you just going to sue LA for being a sanctuary city? But isn't the whole California a sanctuary city or just LA? Just like Santa Ana is a sanctuary city. And that's out here in Orange County. And guess what? Orange County is so-called Republican. See, it's all the same, man. I just don't buy into this stuff anymore, man. It's fake. It's a psyop. Like I said, we're trained to think like these people. We're trained to think that them getting tax breaks are okay, but meanwhile, us getting tax breaks is a problem. Somebody being lazy or don't want to work, which is really doesn't make no damn sense. Just because you're on social programs doesn't mean you're not working. That's fucking weird. How do people not know that's weird? Like they don't have people or no family members that are on social program. I think that's strange to me. But that I get it though. I got to think like a white billionaire and shit. You know what I'm saying? To somebody I can't even relate to, people that can't even relate to us. Versus, let me be sympathetic and empathetic to people that are on my level. Where it's just one big side.
Let's say some of that social program thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who invented the social program?
Them. Politicians, right?
How you get mad?
Dude, that's a good point. They invented it, but then they see it's all fake, dude. Like WWF. It's all fake. They invented the system at play, but want to demonize the system. You see what I'm saying? Just like, but see, I get it though. You know, we got to blame the poor. We got to bring regular people and not these people. Like, maybe I think this social. I think psychologically, when people do that, they think that they're on their level or something. I don't know. Maybe for a second they're white or something. I don't know. But that ain't me, bro. That shit is weird. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think we need to stop playing games. We're regular everyday people, just like these, you know what I'm saying? These rich elite people cannot relate to what we're going through. Why are we you know what I'm saying? Why are we trying to put ourselves onto their level? Just like, for example, this bill, the bill, right? The big, beautiful bullshit bill. So the Democrats are full of shit because they could have filibustered the bill. And then now they hit you with this. Oh, this is gonna be this, and this bill's gonna be that. Oh my God, it's gonna be so bad. What's the brother's name? Hakeem Jeffries, whatever the fuck his name is. Weird. All it's weird to me. They talk all that shit, but don't want to actually stop the bill. Like when Obama was in office, the motherfuckers was stopping shit and filibustering shit all day, right? You see, it's just too. And they know this type of stuff. They know people don't know politics, so it's even better for them. It's even better. It's more mass confusion. You see what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. You know something?
Mm-hmm.
How many Republicans voted against the bill?
It's like what? Like 11 or something?
Hell no.
How much? What happened?
There were 3 Republican senators that voted against the bill.
Okay, only 3. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's 50-50, and J.D. Vance had top-ranking vote. I think you got to go to the House for a revision.
Yeah,
but they wanted to get this done for the 4th of July, obviously.
Symbolism. Symbolic.
Right.
Symbolism.
But if you look at it, big beautiful bill equals BBB. Build Back Better, the same letters, man.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
It's like the same thing. 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, man.
And it's crazy because look, tax cuts for the rich. Why they cut your shit? Why they cut shit for the people, for the regular people? So it's another wealth transfer and shit. You know, transfer the wealth.
Well,
Project 2025 similar or what? What you think?
It's like this. I mean, it's kind of weird because the tax cuts for rich, that's the name of the game. That's, you know, what it's always been. That's not really saying much to me. But the problem is, you got the 10-year thing they want to do with the regular NEI thing. You got possibly, like they say, because of the program. But my thing was, if you're spending all this money, they claim they got a deficit. Wouldn't that mean you're adding the deficit? You spend a lot of money.
$3 trillion to the deficit, bro.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Another 3. When I hit you with the Masonic numbers throughout the whole thing, and I'm number 3 again, baby. You know what I'm saying?
But to me, and you would need to see what is the would it bring back certain jobs would be the case? Because
I was just about to say jobs. I was just about to say something about that. They're talking about they want you to work, and they want you to work for the this and SNAP, and you got to have this amount of hours and all this for this and that. But there's not even any jobs, dude. How work for what? Where's the job? Yeah. The job market's the shit right now. And they act like people on these programs and these programs don't work. See, that's the lie right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk he's the biggest welfare queen around, bro.
Yeah, they were joking. Yeah, they made a saying that Trump said they might have looking to deport Elon Musk.
That's all stage. That's all political theory. That's stage. Well, okay, are you gonna deport the fucking those freeloading racist ass South Africans in that you brought over?
No, they got to bring them on board, man.
This shit is so staged, man. All this political theater, people
Right.
making videos about, oh yeah, man. But see, they're not. That makes sense. I got to make a video about Elon Musk and Donald Trump instead of talking about the infrastructure and about the economy. It makes sense. You know.
Well, a lot of layoffs lately, certain areas. But you know what?
Mm-hmm. You're right, DJ.
They have been talking about call it gig work. They said that. So I'm gonna say something. There's a lot of people actually are making a lot of money, and but it's like I had guys over here. He's making $1,000 a week in DoorDash and stuff like that. But he get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He be out there at 10 o'clock at night or at 7 o'clock, whatever the hell it is. Right? But the problem is, I asked him why you do it. There's another guy that's doing it too. And then when I started the video today, I was talking about a guy I was talking to yesterday where I was talking to about him. And I found out that he had breast cancer. I said, what? Yeah, a guy getting breast cancer. Like crazy shit, right? Wow. And, you had these, because you don't really have about men getting breast cancer too much. It's like one shot. But, when that stuff happens, by not being a case for you as much as women, you probably got to pay more money to get that medication, bro.
Wait, you said he probably got, say it one more time?
Probably got to pay more money to get that medication.
This is gonna be bad for people on Medicaid too, man.
Well, no, I'm just saying he got probably. I'm talking about him himself because ain't no men got no breast cancers usually like that, so he might be kind of out of luck, bro.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's how it be, man. So people have to really think about these things. But let me play this thing. A lot of storms going on.
When she learned he was sexually abusing children, has now been released from prison. She served most of her 4-year sentence, a punishment that outraged supporters who thought the judge was way too harsh. Tonight, WJZ investigator Mike Helgren speaks to Shantira Young from the halfway house she is staying at. And Mike, you are live with the exclusive that everyone has been waiting to see tonight.
Well, Rick, she was gracious, happy to talk to us. That halfway house where she's at right now is in Washington, D.C. She got there on Tuesday and expects to be in some sort of home confinement through December, but is looking forward to eventually rebuilding her life here in Maryland. Shantira Young is almost free after being in custody since July 2022 when she shot her then husband, former Baltimore City police officer James Weems, after confronting him over allegations he'd been abusing children at her daycare, Little Kids Castle in Owings Mills. What do you want people to know?
One of the things I really want to say is I thank everybody for the support that they have given me. It has really helped me get through my prison sentence, and I'm just really thankful for that. I'm glad to be out and at the halfway house, and I'm just looking forward to rebuilding and giving back to the community like I was before.
She testified against her ex-husband, who was convicted of rape and sexual abuse last year and sentenced to life in prison. Prosecutors built their case around a 10-year-old girl he abused inside the daycare's van.
The one thing I think that we need to know is that sexual abuse is not okay with children. A lot of times in the past, it has been covered up, and it's good that it's getting some type of notoriety to it so that we can stop it, we can help children and not accept this, especially from somebody who we all thought should have been protecting children and protecting the community at one point.
A judge in D.C., where the shooting occurred, sentenced Young to 4 years in prison, double what prosecutors requested. People around the world and here in Maryland expressed outrage at a punishment they believed was too harsh. Did you feel the support? Did you get those messages?
Absolutely. A lot of people wrote to me, and, I was able to contact with a lot of people. I definitely felt the support. I think the support is what kept me sane in prison.
Anything you want to say to the community and those supporters who love you so much and who stood up for you throughout this?
I would just say thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of them. I'm definitely glad that the justice system saw what happened and he was sentenced to what he got, and that everybody can start trying to rebuild and move on.
She says she has hope as far as rebuilding her life. She's not sure when she's getting out of that halfway house, but she is meeting with her agent today or tomorrow, so she should have some more clarity. She is just happy to be out of prison. Reporting live in your corner in Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Mike, excellent coverage. What a get. Thank you.
Let me ask a couple questions, man. Why didn't she just turn him in? Why did she just call the police on him, bro? Does that make sense? Pedophiles and rapists, all that, I think they should get that kind of justice. But my thing is, he was a cop, you're his wife, wherever, girlfriend, wherever the fuck. Why didn't you just turn him in?
You got a point.
I said, these women be too, and they just people, period, just be too, and it's just weird, man. That emotion. We was talking about that last night on my boy stream. That emotion stuff, man. Dude was like, we're ruled by emotion. No, we not. Some of us are, and that's what the type of stupid ass shit that happens when you're ruled by emotions. But most of us ain't, especially us men. You got to go by logic and common sense over here. You got to think back and say, wait up. Let me not do this, man. This is not right. See what I'm saying?
I got you.
But we, picking on people, Yeah.
I got you 100%. All right. Let me play this.
I think she should. But see, how did? No, I mean,
one of those
weird story.
Yeah, it is.
And then you happen to be a cop too. Wow, interesting. Very interesting.
Right, it is kind of interesting when you think about it, bro.
To the rescue to stop a lone gunman from committing a mass shooting at a church. It's a story you'll see only here on 7. The incident happened outside the Cross Point Community Church in Wayne on Sunday. This week, we have been bringing you stories of heroes who helped keep countless lives safe on that day. And tonight, I'm sharing the story of Deacon Richard Pryor, revealing to me what was running through his head when he hit the gunman with his truck and how his faith was involved in that moment.
My wife was in this room just on the other side of these windows here.
Outside Cross Point Community Church in Wayne, Deacon Richard Pryor is opening up for the first time about making a split-second decision to run over a gunman with his pickup truck.
As soon as he got out of the vehicle, I saw the fatigues, I saw the gun on his hip, and then he pulled his weapon out of the vehicle.
He says his first memory of an attempted mass shooting on Sunday is of an eerie conversation he had with him before the gunman started firing.
Kind of pulled up, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, boss." I said, "Hey, boss, are you okay? Everything all right?" And he doesn't say anything. He doesn't respond. It's not a smile. It's not a smirk. He just kind of looks at me.
Seconds later, with no prior police or military training, Pryor says he felt a calling to jump into action, flooring the gas, running over the shooter, who would eventually fire numerous rounds on Sunday.
You recall the feeling you had that if you didn't intervene right then and there, people were going to die?
I knew, but I didn't know.
That action temporarily stopping the shooter, who responded by shooting into Richard's truck. Moments later, he was killed by a security guard.
I've realized how much damage he came to do, especially after the fact. And I generations of families were in this church.
Although another guard was wounded, Pryor says he is thankful more people were not hurt, or worse yet, killed.
I'm not a hero. My heroes are Jay and John and security staff that eliminated this man.
As a result of this violent scene, Pryor's truck was destroyed, a vehicle he used to deliver bread for his day job. Thankfully, this GoFundMe page has now surpassed $25,000 to help get a replacement.
What does it mean to you to see folks helping out in this interim?
I can't be more than appreciative for everyone reaching out.
As for this incredible act of bravery, the humble hero is just asking others to stay vigilant, as he did while talking to 911.
I never considered my health that moment.
Do you believe everything in your life led you to this point for a reason?
I definitely do now.
Pryor is adamant that he is not a hero.
Damn. But see, it happened on a Sunday.
Yeah.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
What, it happened on Sunday?
Yeah, right. You know, church. You know what I'm saying? Oh, dude. What's up with all this?
Hey, actually, tell you, I'd say that's a good day to do it, right?
I was low-key thinking that too, because a lot of the psyops happen on psyops and a lot of that BS happen on the weekend anyway. You know what I'm saying? Saturday, especially Saturday. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh boy, like you played the other day with the firefighter and all this, like, all right, don't look at shit. What is your motive of killing the firefighter, man? What's the motive behind that? This is psyops to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep the crime thing going. They'll watch after this big, beautiful bullshit bill. There's gonna be something about crime. There's gonna be something else. Like, trust me. Plus those cops that supposedly got shot. There's gonna be some stuff down the pipe, bro. Trust me.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you're right.
I'm saying, you know, this is all they script and stage it so they have a reason to put these bills out. You know?
Here we go right here.
This zip tie style clip is a total game changer for anyone working on car repairs. It's incredible.
The tragic shooting of 2 Idaho firefighters on Sunday has left many questioning what could possibly be the motive for such a heinous act. But one theory has gripped the internet. In the afternoon on June 29th, first responders were called to a small but active brush fire on the east side of Canfield Mountain near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, in the building.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, look, tell you something about the beginning of the show. I had played something about men getting breast cancer. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He was like, man, one of your buddies got breast cancer. I said, what? He's like, yeah, man. I said, oh, shit. I said, you talking about a guy? He's like, yeah. He like shocked the hell out of me.
You said what now?
I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and he was like, man, you know, one of your buddies got breast cancer. I said, breast cancer? You talking about a guy? He was like, yeah, guy got breast. I said, damn, ouch. That's kind of different.
How long you been on?
About a year.
What?
I don't know him that way. I know a girl.
No, I said how long you been on? Been on you live.
About an hour.
You been on for an hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
Frank, hold on. Frank was on. Okay.
Yeah, Frank went on about 30 minutes because I said 7 your time, and I was just working on some stuff. And it takes you back and said 7 your time. Yeah, I've been on for an hour. But yeah, you know, we're talking about this minority report thing with employees now. Employers, you use free crime to, you know, basically find out what you're doing, you know, to make sure you're not a security risk before you come to work.
Make sure you know who.
A security risk before you come to work.
Mm.
Called pre-crime. Basically, you got what's that thing? I think it's called ClearPoint or something like that. LexisNexis and all these other companies, they got data on you and they use that. And a lot of the people in these data companies, 1/3 of them work in these companies, and then they leave these data companies and go serve on these basically minority report type of things. Crazy shit, right? But it's life, bro.
As fire crews moved in to tackle the blaze around 2 p.m., bullets suddenly rained down, fired by an unknown assailant hiding in the woods, officials said. The grisly scene was captured in harrowing 911 audio as firefighters were pinned down by the crazed shooter.
There's an active shooter at a fire. There's essentially 2 battalion chiefs down. They're shot. BC3's down. BC1's down. Everybody's shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here. Then immediately up here, we've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds.
The horrific ordeal ended about 5 hours later when SWAT teams discovered the lifeless body of the shooter next to his firearm on a popular tourist trail, according to police. On June 30th, the shooter was ID'd by police as Wes Rowley. It was confirmed that a Coeur d'Alene firefighter and a Kootenai County Fire and Rescue member lost their lives in the sudden strike, while a third firefighter was left fighting for life after surgery, but is now in stable condition. Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris said in a news conference.
We do believe that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush and it was intentional.
While police have yet to release any conclusions on Rowley's motive, internet sleuths discovered a shocking coincidence concerning the town's fire department. The deadly incident occurred 24 years to the day of the deliberate burning of the headquarters of the far-right Aryan Nations group in Hayden Lake, just 7 miles from Coeur d'Alene. Aryan Nation leader Richard Butler was forced to sell the site in a bankruptcy sale after being ordered to pay a Native American woman $6.3 million as part of a lawsuit.
Stop it for a second.
After the hate.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Aryan Nation, you know what that is, bro?
Yeah, I know what it is, but
so who this was their shit? This is their house? And they caught on fire? And then they shot. What was the story again? Now let me listen. Let me just shut up and listen.
This about that damn fire, that daggone firefighters, bro.
So one of these Aryan cats killed the firefighter. That's what they're saying?
Yep.
But see, why is it Shaq? What's up with these people's profile, bro? Why there's no profile on the skinheads and the Aryans, huh? They don't have no profile, but they give you that fake ass black identity extremist. They give you that BS, right? These people, man, these are a terror group. You know what I'm saying? These are terrorists, homegrown terrorists. They should be labeled as that. But I guess it don't matter if Biden or Trump or whoever's in there. It's silence. Obama, all these motherfuckers. Nobody ever condemned these people, man. That's why I'm like,
it is a goddamn monsoon going on outside, bro.
These motherfuckers make Sonic and shit, so I get it. You know, makes sense. You know, with the motherfucker that made the Scottish Rite, the motherfucker that bought the York Rite over here is the one that made motherfucking the skinheads and the KKK. Makes sense. Makes sense.
You got a point, bro.
Boy, I tell you.
Yeah, I got to give it to them though. Hey, they're working hard right now, bro.
Super hard.
Let me see something.
8 group security guards had opened fire at the woman, Victoria Keenan, when she stepped outside the building with her son in 1998. Keenan bought the dilapidated compound for $95,000 and sold it to a local philanthropist who let the local Coeur d'Alene Fire Department burn it down as part of a training exercise. On June 28th and 29th of 2001, the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department conducted the training exercise, sending the compound into a furious blaze. Now, conspiracy theorists and locals are questioning whether Sunday's incident may have been a revenge attack for the fire department's deliberate burning down of the compound. So far, there is no indication that Rowley had any political motivations or ties to neo-Nazi groups.
This is how to get in
They
shape
be giving them
fast.
cover like a motherfucker, man. Damn. The news media always look. The news gives, you know who the news gives cover to? The Mexicans and the white motherfuckers, bro. That's what they give cover to. Because remember, they got to keep you as the face of the crime. They got to keep you as the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the best way to do it, ain't it, brother?
Man, exactly.
If they keep you at the face of crime, then guess what? Everybody else gets a free pass. Like right now, the free pass going on is this goddamn massive thunderstorm that I'm listening to outside. It is raining like a monsoon out there. It's very already 10,000 people have already lost power. I could be next. But never know. Been hot as I don't know what all day, then boom, thunderstorm. Right when you least expect it. Or actually, we do expect it, actually. Let's see. But it's going down out there. I can hear it very well. All right, what is it? July 1st? I guess they said they came to a partial verdict in the jury thing. It did anything. Yeah, that might be a little too long right there. Damn, these motherfuckers.
Uh-oh. Here we go with this Diddy.
That was 9 hours, bro. Hold on, I can't. Let's find this something short in this motherfucker. God damn, bro. They had this shit on TV for 9 hours? Yeah. All right, let's just try one like this. This will be better. Fuck it.
Breaking news right now on ABC News Live. A jury has reached a partial verdict in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. A note sent to the judge saying that the jury is unable to reach a verdict on the racketeering conspiracy count, adding that there are, quote, unpersuadable opinions. Both prosecutors and the defense agreeing with the judge's plans to instruct the jury to continue deliberations, and the next steps are apparently being debated right now. So for more on this, I want to get to Rena Roy, who is outside the courthouse, along with legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer for more. And Rena, I want to start with you. Just kind of get us caught up on where things are right now. I'm sorry, it sounds like Rena's still getting connected there. I want to go to trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer. And Brian, break this down for me. We heard about all these notes that were being passed from the jury to the judge. By my calculations, it's roughly about 6. And then we have this partial verdict. What does that tell you?
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in.
Yeah, so we've seen notes, as you said, and I think you cut out there for a second. I think it's 6 notes. I would agree with you there. The first note talking about one of the jurors not being able to follow the rules, but past that, we've seen pretty standard questions asking about drug distribution, asking to see testimony of Cassie as well as David Phillips, one of the escorts in various parts of this case, parts that the government told the jurors to focus on. And now we have this note saying there's a partial verdict, saying that they have an unpersuadable opinion between them when it comes to that first count of racketeering conspiracy, but they have a verdict as it applies to the other 4 counts. Just as a reminder, that is 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, where Sean Combs faces 15 years to life for each one of those, and then transportation to engage in prostitution. And there's an either or for those 2 charges, where you could be talking about transporting either Jane or Cassie or any of the 25 plus male escorts that were allegedly brought across state lines. Each one of those counts carry up to 10 years in prison.
Well, and Brian, I mean, as a criminal defense attorney, this is day 2 of deliberations, and you get a verdict. We certainly expected one before the July 4th holiday, but I'm curious, if you were Diddy's defense team right now, how are you feeling?
A little happy. I mean, beating the top count is great, but the issue here is that with the sex trafficking charges, they have just as much of a penalty as it does with that RICO conspiracy, the potential of life in prison. I'm a little worried. I think especially that Cassie charge, if he goes down on the charge against Cassie, that is a lot of time for a 54-year-old to be spending in prison, a minimum of 15 years potentially of life. But I think you're also optimistic and hopeful that verdict doesn't necessarily mean conviction. Verdict simply means they've come to a decision. With the RICO conspiracy, right now they're trying to figure out, do we simply stop them and kind of cut our losses and just keep that as a mistrial or a hung jury as to that count? Or do we give what's called an Allen charge, where the judge will instruct them to continue deliberating? Or looking at the time, it's 4:47, do they say, Judge, you know what? Maybe let them sleep on it. Maybe let them come back. Maybe they'll change their mind about some of the verdicts in a positive way for either side, defense or the government. But at that point, you're really just rolling the dice and just hoping for the best.
In that case, Brian, in your expertise, I mean, would we actually hear what the partial verdict is before that RICO charge is essentially determined?
Yeah, so there is a possibility that you would hear a polling of the jury where either side, typically the prosecutor or the government, will ask to poll the jury to say, is this your true and final verdict, or some language along that sense. And they'll do it for all of the counts. They'll do it to make sure that if Sean Combs is convicted of any of the charges, that all 12 of them agree to that. Or if he's found not guilty of a charge, that all 12 of them have that as well. And it's likely that they will also do that for that RICO conspiracy. And you'll hear something along the lines of 10-2 to convict, or 6-6, or whatever the number may be. But I think that one side or the other will likely poll the jury to see what the numbers are.
And obviously, this is something that is developing right now. We just got a new note from our chief investigative correspondent, Eric Matursky, who's there inside that court. He said the judge will not take a partial verdict. He says that once the lawyers work out the language, the judge will call the jurors into the courtroom and instruct them to keep deliberating. Both sides asked the judge to do this. The judge agreed. No verdict is being read as of now. And again, this is going to continue to develop, so bear with us here. But Brian, you kind of ran down the 5 counts that Diddy faces right now. And
how can you
so
lock somebody from
looking at the 6
racketeering,
weeks
nigga, when there's
of
no
testimony that we
conspirators
had here, the prosecution
And what's
really
the game?
trying to
The game, they're saying the
really kind of
game
swing for
is
the fences with
a
this RICO
personal
count.
game.
Why do you feel like there's been a little bit of a holdup specifically on that particular charge?
So there are 2 parts of the RICO conspiracy that have to be considered. One, do you believe this to be a criminal enterprise? And at first, I thought that might have been a foregone conclusion. And the reason why I say that is because they've gone to the second aspect of evaluating the predicate acts. And when they asked for that definition of drug distribution, that to me made me think that everyone was a RICO conspiracy and they were moving on. But now hearing this note that they're hung, I have to imagine, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong in the past and I'll be wrong in the future, but I have to imagine it's the question of whether or not it's a RICO conspiracy, because there are so many. I think there are about 8 to 10 predicate acts, that so long as they're unanimous in their belief that one of these predicate acts happened and they get 2 of them, that's halfway to RICO. There are so many of them, the arson, the sex trafficking, the prostitution, the transportation to engage in prostitution, the bribery, the obstruction of government. I would imagine that 2 could be found amongst this 12, but the linchpin, the centerpiece of whether or not there's a racketeering conspiracy or this is just a business that Sean Combs operates, I would think that would be the sticking point that some people are just going to say, you know what, I don't believe it. And they're really digging in their heels.
Well, and again, just to refresh our viewers, prosecutors allege that Combs was the ringleader of an alleged enterprise that abused, threatened, and coerced women into prolonged drug-fueled sexual orgies with male prostitutes, which he called freak-offs, and then essentially threatened them into silence. There were 6 weeks of testimony. Federal prosecutors called 34 witnesses to the stand, attempting to prove their case. Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was the star witness during this trial. She testified that Combs subjected her to a decade of abuse and that the threats and sexual demands from Combs drove her into addiction, exposed her to regular spates of violence, and ultimately led her to contemplate suicide. And Brian, reflecting specifically on Cassie's testimony, I mean, how powerful was that for the prosecution in proving at least some of their case here?
So I would say when it comes to cases of sex trafficking or sexual abuse, especially decades.
Hey, hold on, man. How they had the picture of Nitty up there holding up the damn symbol in that job? Hold on, how they get that up there?
Wait, go back. Show it real quick. You want it a little bit?
Spates of violence, and ultimately led her to contemplate suicide. And Brian, reflecting specifically on Cassie's testimony, I mean, how powerful was that for the prosecution in proving at least some of their case here?
You hear me?
So I would say when it comes to cases of sex.
Yeah, see, that's bullshit, dude. You said he wasn't even. So how did he? Like you said, he wasn't on the stand. So how did they get him doing that? He didn't go on the stand at all. So how did they get him throwing it, whatever that is? I guess it's supposed to be a heart. Damn.
Hold on, say it again, Frank.
Damn. If he wasn't on the stand, how did they get him? How did they get a picture of him throwing that bullshit sign up? Then we don't.
What sign up?
We don't think. There's a picture right here on the screen right now.
Let me see.
He's throwing the heart. Could we be? Damn, we don't think, man.
No, but because when he's sitting, when he's sitting, if he's sitting in the court, the cartographer lady, whoever that's drawing, doing the doing the scripts and shit, drawing the shits and shit.
But he's throwing up a heart
for what?
He's throwing up a heart. That's why I'm like, dude, like I'm kind of going off what BJ just said, but I'm going with a little bit more detail. How do you have him with throwing up that sign when he wasn't on the stand?
What you mean? How he thought? What you mean?
He's throwing up a heart. Right now. The picture that BJ got up, he has the heart, like the heart shape, like his hand is
right.
His hip. But it's just like, how would they have that picture of him? Did they ask him? I'm confused. Did they ask him to demonstrate? That's weird.
I mean, I don't know, because he in the court. He was sitting in the court. He ain't taking no stand. He's sitting in the court and on the defense, his defense table. I mean, at one point, see, this seems a lot of shit going on, Frank. At one point, the judge, I don't know if it was the prosecution. Yeah, the prosecution wanted the judge to make him stop making. He was, because he was. They told me he was persuading the jury and shit. He, shaking his head and grinning and stuff. They trying to say he was coercing the fucking jury and shit. I'm like, really? This man is having a really emotions, just like everybody else having body emotions in the court. You know what I'm saying?
It's not the same for Weinstein, though, right? They're not saying all the details about what Weinstein's doing.
Bro, you got to pull it up because they overturned that nigga shit, bro. I read this that they overturned this shit, bro, because he's at the pillar. He appealed it. They overturned it. They overturned it because they said the prosecution used pretty much. They used a law where it allows survivors or victims or some shit to use previous bad acts What? See, I told you they pull out all the stop for these cracker-lackers, bro. They make sure they get in there. They'll charge them. They'll lock them up. As soon as the smoke clear, they go in there and pull them up. They do the 1-2 step, right?
These motherfuckers.
They do it for the cops too. They do it for these cops too that they be locking up. When your head ain't looking, they got the pills coming and they do the 1-2 step. You said what?
But see, this right here, this shows how they do regular black men too, non-celebrities also. That's how I look at it.
Well, yeah, this look. This ain't no different than stringing the so-called nigga back up in the day that had money, had land, stringing them up, said a white woman, you raped a white woman, no jury, string you up, defame your name. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Damn. Got a point there.
Yeah, they trying their best to pull off this RICO, and all the evidence is saying this is not a RICO. You see what I'm saying, Frank? No. How can you get me on the RICO sex trafficking when you literally got the chicks up? They're picking out the men they want to have sex with. How do I get to hold a bag for that? They're going to go buy drugs and bring it to the party. And how do I get to hold a bag for that? And they get to go scot-free. How do I get to hold a bag with that, Frank? Tell me. We all participants. We was in agreement. We're adults. We're consensual. We're having party, you know what I'm saying? We drinking, we having party. We got different, personal drugs there. You know what I'm saying? People, hey, rock and roll. You know what I'm talking about? Sex, drug, and rock and roll.
Man.
It's sex, drug, and rock and roll.
They don't go out there none of these rock and roll motherfuckers, dude.
Man, come on, man. These motherfuckers got Molly and all that type of shit at these parties, man. They ain't going out to the
And for what Queen Amadaya, I seen a little bit, just a little bit, and I read a little something, and she was saying that what's the name? She was saying that the prosecution was playing dirty.
No, they was playing dirty because they got rid of one of the jurors. They in her line, they got caught. Cassie and them one girl got caught lying and shit in damn with their testimony and stuff. And their testimonies didn't match up. They're trying to say this man hung him over the. They trying to lie Cassie because Cassie put that in her report. They were trying to say this man hung her over the balcony and she saw it. The defense proved that was a lie. Then the Jane Doe chick, which we now know her name is Dabney, 50 Cent's baby mom, this motherfucker,
what are those brothers
they trying to say
baby mom, bro?
50
Cent's baby mom, you said?
Yeah, she wanted. It's like two alleged victims. It's Cassie, and then they brought on the Jane Doe. We find out now that's 50 Cent's mother. His kid's mother. These are the two women he had really major relationships with that they brought in up under this RICO and sex trafficking. Now watch this. Some of their homegirls, this was crazy. Some of their homegirls obviously were little freaks, whatever. I don't see they didn't blame none of the women that they brought in, that the women brought in for them to have threesomes of sex with. These are them going to go get women, they homegirls and shit. You know how they have their homegirls hang along and shit. This dude, he got the big name, he got the money, so they riding off his money. They going on trips off his money and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then Cassie got him mad at her, one of her homegirls, for sleeping with Diddy. I guess without her knowing. Like, bro, this is a toxic relationship between, this is not a RICO sex trafficking situation, bro. And the prosecution deliberately put that out there. They deliberately trying to keep because this is an all-female prosecution, right?
Right. See, that's the conflict of interest. That's what I was trying to tell you in the law. That's the conflict of interest right there. How do you have all women prosecutors? I've never even heard.
All female, and they were so goofy, bro. I'm just going off the transcripts. I don't know what everything happened in the court, bro. Them mother can't even read shit, bro. Like, bro. They tried to say this man was tampering, right? The Jane Doe with Diddy's girl. Diddy was currently in a relationship with her, still in a relationship with her, paying her rent, 10 racks, and her lawyer fees.
Wow.
She stopped communicating with Diddy's lawyers, stopped communicating with them, and only started communicating with the prosecutors. Bro, that's a conspiracy. I'm saying that's a conspiracy on the federal government, Cassie, and this Jane Doe. They conspired to try to get this man locked up or miscue situations and stuff that they were partaking. Because why did they need to have immunity?
Facts.
If they're a victim, how does a victim need immunity? When you ever heard a victim get immunity? Talk to me, Frank. Talk to me, Bernard. When does alleged victim need immunity, sir? Huh?
Facts.
Dude, I'm just saying. I just pay attention to some of a lot of stuff that the other people didn't want to pay attention to. You know, some of these people are here, you know, being very biased. It was only just saying the certain stuff that the prosecution was saying. They never said none of the defense when they did the rebuttals and the stuff that they presented. Because the defense, bro, you know, they filed for 2 mistrials. They did their job. If this man get convicted, they did their job. They got paid for a great job. They did an excellent job because, first of all, like you said, with all the evidence, once you look at the evidence, look at the stuff transcript, it don't look like a racketeering, and it don't look like sex trafficking. Can you say they did drugs? Yeah. Can you say they had sex? Can you say they hired entertainers, escorts from the service to come and entertain at a party, and then somebody end up having sex? You can say that. That happened. But that still ain't racketeering the sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now you see how the judge and them is trying to push the jury. It seems like they're trying to persuade the jury on the guilty, and they not seeing it. They not seeing it. It's not clear because it's just too much moving shit. They got like 8 different charges that they got to try to rule on, got to try to judge on, bro. Coercion. They're like, well, where's the coercion at? But this is a relationship this is an open relationship. They're trying to say that this toxic relationship that he had with these 2 chicks, right, equals racketeering sex trafficking, bro. Damn, Frank.
But see, you know what I noticed about this? A lot of black women I've seen, like people on Facebook, wherever, just, you know what I'm saying? I notice a lot of black women are like, they're seeing through this bullshit too, bro.
Yeah, a lot of you know what one you need to play? You need to get the lawyer later. What's her name? Aliyah Shabazz. Oh, she ate this motherfucker up, bro.
You might have to send me
down.
You
see her? The one I sent you?
Did you send me? Let me see.
I sent it to you. It's probably about a day or 2 ago. It's
in the group?
She did. Yeah, I sent it in the I think I sent it in let me pull it out the group and send it back to you because I think I sent it in the group chat too. Hold on. And they trying to, all the women trying to say, oh, Diddy groomed her. Bro, didn't I tell you from get-go? I said, man, that dude didn't groom her. She was already dating a dude older than her, 10 years older than her before she got to Diddy. He was dating him in high school. How the hell he grew him up? You tell me. The defense said she's a gangster. She said she's and they like she's a gangster. She's down with it. Shit crazy.
All right, let me play this. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on around here. Matter of fact, going on outside right now.
Received from where you're looking at a shelf cloud approaching the BWI region this afternoon. At last check, all three major airports in our area experiencing a slew of delays, as you can imagine, just a few hours after flights were grounded due to thunderstorms a little bit earlier. And our live team coverage continues at 7 o'clock. Kelsey Kushner on your corner in Fells Point. And Kelsey, another storm, more flooding, taking a hit on that neighborhood tonight.
Rick, well, it's really no surprise or no secret that Fells Point and the Harbor East area are hotspots when it comes to flooding out here. Behind me here, though, is that car that caught flames just a couple moments ago. I just talked to the driver off camera. He tells me that he was driving through this area. The water was rising and his car stalled. He then tried to start the car again at one point, though. It then obviously caught fire. But you're taking a look at some of the footage that we got earlier where this entire, I'm at Alisana Street and South Caroline Street were completely flooded. Was completely flooded out with water. There were cars that were stalling in the middle of the road. Firefighters, of course, had to brace water that was up to some of their knees trying to get some of that or try to get the flames out. We did speak with one man who works in the area. He says this flooding also created quite a headache as he was just about to get ready to head home for the day.
Well, I definitely can't walk through there, so I'm going to have to go around, probably take an extra 10 minutes to walk around it. Add longer to my commute as well. So about a 40-minute commute. Now it's about a 50-minute commute.
Now, some neighbors that I spoke with in the area say that it took, about 15 minutes for the water to rise. Then it took about 15 minutes for that water to then go away. They're now walking around in disbelief, taking a round at the neighborhood out here. Of course, there are still some roads that are blocked off, South Alisana Street or Alisana Street at South Caroline Street.
Actually, this is in Maryland, but it's actually going on here because I tell you, it's raining like hell here, man. It was 90 degrees and then it just been running tons of corn. 10,000 people already out of power and stuff. So, yeah, it's just going on every day like that. You just be chilling in the middle of the day and then all of a sudden,
Have you ever seen it get like this before?
What? Like rain like that?
Yeah, all that shit, hot and rain, all that.
Yeah, but the crazy part is you'll be out and you're going to be on one side of town and you have a big ass rain flood, and the other side of town ain't nothing going on.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like, it's kind of bullshit actually, but I mean that's what it is, man. So I mean, yeah, it's going on like that.
It's going down.
So yeah, I mean, but a lot of people, then they had a big home explosion out there in Baltimore the other day. Matter of fact, I tell you, they had the big explosion here in Richmond.
What you think? That's kind of weird, huh? All these explosions going on. What's going on?
Man,
it's kind of weird.
It is right here.
Gotta take me a roast beef sandwich.
See a building right there that happened last week. Building just got on fire. Houses and apartments and a business got on fire last week in the middle of the day. I mean, right now we got what do you call it right now? cyber. We got new Virginia laws when it affected the cyberbullying, all types of shit like that. So talking about monitoring hate speech online.
Didn't the white boy just interview the little white girls and talk about mud sharks and they all this bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Just because they said that they like black dudes. Did his shit get taken down? No. That's what it's just too much hypocrisy, bro. It's just too much, you know what I'm saying? It's just when you got something to say about the creeds or something like some bullshit, you know what I'm saying, then your shit's gonna get taken down. If it goes against their narrative, it's gonna get taken down. But if it goes with their narrative, you say something about black people all day. That's the narrative everybody go with. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shaq, you see that video? Dewan, you mess with Dewan B, Shaq? Shaq, man, Dewan B broke that down last night, dude. Shit.
Say what now?
I said Dewan B broke. You seen the video? You heard of Dewan B? Dude from out here in California. Heavy set dude, beard. He be smoking and stuff in his live. Man, he broke it down, dude. He was like, the video. He said they spend billions about how they spend billions.
Cool in summer, even during
how they spend billions of dollars to undermine black. You know what I'm saying? Undermine black.
Cools any room within 3 minutes.
No, I didn't see that one.
In your Capitol Connection this afternoon, hundreds of new laws go into effect in Virginia starting today. They range from a number of topics, including how Virginians can be penalized for what some consider hate speech to how Virginians drive. 8 News reporter Ben Walls combs the detail for us.
For reference, Governor Youngkin had 916 bills at his desk for his consideration. He signed 599 of them into law, including one that makes it a Class 6 felony to place a swastika or a Nazi symbol in someone's private property without their permission, with the purpose to intimidate someone. Under that kind of felony, people face up to 1 to 5 years in prison or up to 12 months in jail and a fine up to $2,500. The same penalty goes for anyone who puts those kinds of symbols on public property or a highway. And speaking of Virginia highways and roads, starting today, it may be considered reckless driving for motorists to make certain maneuvers like donuts or drifts, whether they're on a public street or a parking lot. The latter bill comes as street racing and exhibition driving are on the rise and may become dangerous situations, according to AAA. Of course, those are just 2 laws coming into effect here in Virginia starting on Tuesday. For a list of other laws coming into effect here in the Commonwealth, head to our website at WR.
Safety advocates hope a new law is a dubious distinction for Virginians. Federal statistics show that we rank last among the 50 states in those who wear seatbelts while driving. Starting today, every passenger in the car, including those in the back seat, must wear a seatbelt. 10 News anchor Samuel King spoke with Virginia State Police and a family whose tragedy led to this law.
Where do we get these laws from? People
Until now,
agree
Virginia
with
was
stuff
one
they
of
come up with,
15 states that did not require everyone in a car, including here in the back seat, to wear their seatbelt. That, of course, has now changed. And it just so happens that the Virginia State Police are out on I-81 the next couple of days looking for things like speeding and people not wearing their seatbelts.
Yep, both of them wear their seatbelts. Good.
Sergeant Robert Black is just one of the many members of the Virginia State Police out on I-81 this week as part of Operation Disrupt.
People argue with me more over their seatbelt than if they were going 190 miles an hour down the road.
Virginia ranks last among the 50 states in seatbelt use at 73%. We've even slipped below New Hampshire, the only state without a seatbelt law.
Traffic crashes that were included in fatals last year, 35% of the people that were not restrained died. That number is just way too high.
The Christopher King Foundation hopes the new law will help decrease that number. King had just graduated from high school in the Williamsburg area when he was killed in a crash 5 years ago this week. He was a backseat passenger and not wearing a seatbelt.
I do this so that no other parent will have to lose their child. It is the absolute worst thing that anyone could ever go through. And that's why I speak
His mother, Christy, and friends Fred Hanna and Alvin Costa were the force behind the new law, named in his honor. His mother, Christy, and friends Fred Hanna and Alvin Costa were the force behind the new law, named in his honor. They would like to see Virginia join 35 other states that make seatbelt use a primary enforcement offense.
I'll tell you something else they got. I tell you something else they got going on. They got this work zone thing in New Kent, which is about 35 minutes away. If they catch you speeding through their work zone, they're gonna start putting those automated cameras up to track your license plate, send your ticket to your house. So
they've been since like the 90s. They've been enforcing that seatbelt shit in California, bro. That shit is late as fuck.
Now tell me these ain't crime bills. Tell me these ain't crime bills, bro. They talking about this damn swastika shit in the yard, bro. You got motherfuckers that can put.
That's a good point, bro. So they should
bro.
That should be something international, dude.
That's
that state.
I mean, I tell you what else happened. The price of your energy bills and stuff went up too as well. And
again, I'm not trying to put a swastika in nobody's yard though. So you got to think about who's really doing these things. You see what I'm saying?
Man, look, man.
The whitey.
Hey, yo, I just told you, man. 10,000 people right now just got in a storm today. A lightning struck somebody's house in Chester about 15 minutes away. People think about that shit. They were, man, this swastika shit, this some bullshit.
But see, this is precedent because these people are trying to have autonomous, right? They want complete, utter rule. What they say goes. Oh,
yeah, let's pull that up right quick. So I'm thinking about it since they felt so nice to bring it up.
My bad, I'm just clowning. They said Christy Nome took $80,000 in dark money, and I just commented and I said that she spent it on plastic surgery.
She took what now?
$80,000 in dark money payment.
Well, who was that Nome chick? Who is that? What's she do?
That's what's the name? Department.
That's the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, but these people are criminals, man. These people get in.
Wait a minute. That's the one. Wait a minute. That's the one from South Dakota Shaq I was playing some months ago when she said that anybody going against Israel and then
Dick's Epic 4th of July sale is on. Take 20% off bog bags and igloo coolers, 25% off Stanley drinkware, $200 off Callaway.
Get it?
We've heard the click it or ticket slogan for years.
That's why they try to put everybody in.
On the education front, there's now a law that codifies Governor Glenn.
Like they want to be protected. They want to be a protected class, and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like their time is up, bro. Their time is coming up. That's why they're trying to push all these laws and shit, so they can put shit into place to protect them. You know what I'm saying?
All right, here we go. Here we go right here. I found it. This is what I was looking for.
Youngkin's executive order banning students from using cell phones from bell to bell. Another would also require schools notify parents of school overdoses within 24 hours. And a third will require schools to develop policies of fentanyl in it, and it kills someone can be charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Big win for us moms today. Real huge win. And for Virginia, I'm so excited about it.
Commonwealth's attorneys will also be able to prosecute people for mail theft, which previously was only something that could be charged at the federal level.
It actually is a very important tool, and some people have been very impacted in a negative way.
There's also a new law that bans police from intentionally lying to or giving fake documents to minors during interrogation. And how you get takeout changes as well, as a law passed in 2021 now takes effect and bans restaurants and grocery stores with 20 or more locations in Virginia from using styrofoam containers. Smaller businesses will have to follow suit next July 1. There's also a new law directing the state to make sure children in Virginia's foster care system are made aware of resources available to them and allow the state to investigate complaints made by children over over 12 without getting permission from those with custody over them.
Make sure that children who need someone to speak with can get access to them. And therefore, they're being informed every year, not just when they move into the foster care system, that this exists. That every year that it exists.
And among some of the other laws taking effect, raising the minimum age to take part in fantasy sport for money from 18 to 21, banning hidden junk fees that businesses don't advertise in a product's price but tack on at the end of a purchase, and making it a Class 1 misdemeanor to assault a sports official.
Now, if you go to our website, WTVR.com, you'll find a list with more of the bills taking effect today or those that were passed this year but have a delay.
All right, Shaq.
It's just not.
So you heard what he said. You button that fucking goddamn assaulting the referee, your ass getting a misdemeanor. I said, what the fuck kind of crazy shit? These motherfuckers going a little cuckoo bus and shit. But that's how it's been going down right here. Look, this last one. That shit. This is it.
Safe to have that amount of guns around where people are drinking.
That's the underlying concern for Juan Braxton, a former Shockoe Bottom club owner who now acts as a liaison between businesses and Richmond police. He says both parties are troubled by recent activity in the neighborhood.
It's more people that's coming to Shockoe Bottom. They're not supporting any other businesses. They come, they start their own parties, they drinking in their cars.
And he says large crowds are gathering in the streets with firearms and not necessarily going inside the clubs.
It makes no sense right now that clubs are losing so much money that it's better for them to close, and the police still have to work overtime getting the streets cleared.
The proliferation of guns we're seeing is just off the charts.
Richmond Police Chief Rick Edwards says his data shows the most weapons violations and gun thefts in the city are happening in Shockoe Bottom, but the act of holding a gun alone is not unlawful.
This is very concerning because while it may be illegal to walk around and open carry, if you're mixing alcohol, drugs, and an entertainment environment, it's a recipe for disaster.
After a so-called huge melee on St. Patrick's Day, Edwards says he devised a plan to ramp up police presence on weekend nights. The chief himself worked a shift on April 6 and observed a man who had been in a fight walking with an AR-15, and Edwards pulled him aside.
While I was standing and talking to him, I noticed the outline of another firearm in his waistband. I seized that, thus I was subpoenaed to testify today for a charge of a concealed weapon.
Edwards spoke to us outside the courthouse where the defendant was convicted on Tuesday, an outcome he and prosecutors want to see more of, especially after losing many cases due to technical issues. But the operations are causing a bit of a strain on an already understaffed department. According to data we obtained, RPD has deployed the crowd management team at least 10 times between January and June. That's compared to 0 times last year. Overtime hours worked are up by 37%, and officers are now put on an on-call rotation to work these shifts.
I'd love to not spend the money, time, and risk my officers in the Shockoe Bottom, but that's where the data is telling me to go, and that's what we have to follow.
In April, Officer Anthony Catogio, who responded to a Shockoe incident, sent an email to the chief calling the area an absolute disaster, saying, quote, "I have worked this city's most violent neighborhoods for 18 years. I have never in my career seen people with guns in their hands confronting police officers." He added, "What are we going to do when there's an accidental discharge and the whole crowd opens fire? The chief will give an officer's family a nicely folded flag and be like, 'Sorry, we have no idea who killed your loved one,' because there were 100 cartridge casings."
I share that sergeant's frustrations. I have a lot of respect for him personally. I know he served this agency for 18 plus years, and I respect that. But I disagree with just kind of shouting at the sky about it. I'm looking for solutions, and you can either shout at the sky or you can try to find a solution. I'd prefer the latter.
Along with the operational strategies already in effect here in Shockoe Bottom, the chief says those solutions include striving for more accountability for weapons violations in the courtroom and advocating for strict.
Bro, I thought that was a female talking. My bad. Oh shit.
Yeah, kind of crazy. But look, but fuck that. Let me tell you something about this area of Shockoe Bottom, man. That used to be the spot. Had all the clubs. My boy had a restaurant down there that recently closed. Yeah, there's not a lot of clubs down there. But the problem is they got the Exxon down there. And They what's up, those? They got the Exxon down there, but these motherfuckers, yep, they've been closing. That the Exxon used to be like you just your idea of park. I guess you call it parking lot, pimp, whatever. Everything so you get fighting, but everything you get fighting or whatever. But it is what it is, fucking right. So that's what it is, right? So like they got the new apartment down there and stuff. You know, they areas being changed around there, but I mean that's how it go down, and it is what it is, right? So Nana had that massive explosion last week down there. It's wild. I mean, the police do be down there, but they be sitting at the gas station watching these motherfuckers smoking shit. They don't do shit. So like when they down there, nothing go down. I mean, and you got a housing project right like down the street from it, was in walking distance. So I mean, it's kind of crazy. So all the time they come down there, something get down. The police be blocking all traffic where you can't go through streets at 2:00 in the morning or whatever. They got that pizza restaurant that's still down there. Matter of fact, I remember that pizza restaurant because somebody took my key down there. I had to use my mom's car one day. Somebody took the key and we had to leave the car down there. And she had to get a call, locksmith, pay $180 to get locksmith made on site because somebody picked up the damn wrong key. And we were stuck downtown. So I remember those days, but I mean, shit. I mean, they have brunch and stuff down there, but like, I mean, they done got rid of all the stuff they made new sidewalks and all that shit. Is weird down there, motherfucker. But they always had that big ass St. Patrick's Day thing. And that, as a matter of fact, they said they had the melee in St. Patrick's Day for that. So yeah, I mean that's how it be, but ain't nothing going down Chak or slip with a bunch of bullshit. Motherfucker get fighting down there all the time. And then, like he said, everybody just stand outside. It's like a stand outside thing now. They got the train station down there where they have events on Thursday night, but that's people 40 and up go to that. So, I mean, no. I mean, I ain't going down there. So, but like that, like I used to. Because, I mean, I'm not sending the Exxon just for some food to get mad, you know. Besides, man, you go downtown, Richmond now, you see a lot of Twinkies down there, motherfucker, too. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, that shit. I mean, you know, you see people out there in town now, you see like a lot of, on Monday, Thursday, you see a lot of white folks. On Friday, Saturday, and maybe even Sunday, you might see a lot of black folks. It's like real weird, that bitch. But I do know that building exploded. They ain't give you no answer for that shit yet. How that building exploded last week. But there's new laws in Virginia, swastika laws, all this other bullshit. So it is what it is.
Fuck the swastika laws. I mean, man, take these motherfuckers down, bro. They know where these motherfuckers is at. They know where their headquarters is at. They know where these people are at. Come on, man. These motherfuckers, man, want to soft shoot. Oh, you know, this should do this when you know with swastikas, you know. Man, take these motherfuckers down, bro.
Yeah, they
took the Black Panthers down in like a week. See, this is all stage, bro.
They're getting a little wild out there though, with that shit. But I told you the shit. They ain't really come down to no conclusion about that shit that happened when the man called the police the other day and shot the police in the damn apartment. The woman called the police and the police came upstairs and they shot the police officer.
She was in on it too, bro.
So when she called on the domestic complaint, the police officer came in the apartment, and then as soon as he came in, they shot his ass. So they've been doing a lot of shit like that. Matter of fact, so I said like, this shit just been. I tell you this shit. We got a shooting yesterday somewhere. I said, man, every day you look around this motherfucker, they get it. Shooting, like man. Yeah, it do sound like a setup. It happened at 6 o'clock in the morning, by the way. Now, it could have been a setup, or like I said, it could have been the girl called the domestic complaint. The guy saw the police because the guy they say was already a felon, shot them to avoid going to jail, They didn't kill him, by the way. They didn't kill him. They arrested him, but he had already had charges in April, and he was let go of that because they nobody come to testify. So then, I mean, but I said, yo, this shit getting wild, man. But these motherfuckers just go and a little bit in. Let me play this video before I go, man. I had to some reason, I don't know what happened on this motherfucker there. Like I was going through search history and it said it came up and said your search history has been erased or some shit. I was like, oh, whatever. So crazy shit, right? Yeah, it say you have been signed out. Give us your we will have to find your previous search history. So I said, wait a minute, I ain't signed myself. I don't know. Whatever.
I tried to tell y'all that Diddy did not groom Cassie. Let's go down a rabbit hole. Cassie started modeling at 14. Modeling is the gateway into. Cassie used to model for a clothing brand called A&F. I gotta keep it cute here on TikTok. The guy, CEO of A&F, got exposed.
Abercrombie and who?
Doing the same thing that Cassie was dating Ryan Leslie while she was still in high school. I always said between the modeling and her dating a grown-ass man, it's because her parents, in exchange for her, which is why her parents don't.
Pimp it out.
I don't believe that her parents had to take out a second mortgage on their house. I don't believe that. Stay woke. I don't believe that. But anywho, Lindsay Lohan, what's her name? Lana Del Rey, Heidi Klum, and Channing Tatum also used to model for that clothing brand. And that's how they, started climbing the Hollywood pyramid. I keep trying to tell y'all, bro. This shit goes deep. They're only showing you what they want you to know. They're not going to expose too much because they don't want to, their whole operation to be exposed. But the CEO of that brand, used to be cool with, and I tried to tell you earlier about fronts. Abercrombie & Fitch really was selling clothes, but they also were running a background operation where people would move from place to place. And when they moved from place to place, they would get undressed when they did. So, you know what I'm saying? I got to keep it cute because TikTok don't really like this topic. But I just say all that to say, by the time Cassie made it to Diddy, she was already involved in that life. Let's talk in the comments.
Yeah, okay. All right, now. Yeah, I see that's kind of interesting. Yeah, but something. I know a lot of girls that got the kids in modeling now, so
it's a gateway. You just hit it one. This is a treatment. That's a gateway, player.
But they were talking about the gateway drug when they call gateway drug. What about we get into why the white narrative about the white man
prostitution, sex travel.
But
okay.
So like I said, gotta pack the event schedule. Got to go down. What they got to go to North Carolina again. Graduation party. A couple other things going on here. You just want to say one thing before I get out of here. Tomorrow will be exactly 2 days since my good friend. It was the day of tomorrow. Whatever. Since my good friend Shaniqua died.
I think it was the third, second or the third.
No, well, I found on the second. I can't remember the first. But it could have been the first. I tell you, I didn't look at the room, so that was that. Shout out to my brother, a friend that I found out. Male diagnosed with breast cancer, which is very interesting. That's another thing. And one more thing. What is it? Oh yeah, the dang man, I tell you, man, my buddy that a barber that died. I found out a couple weeks ago that died in April. Really threw me for a loop because actually, tell you the truth, I ain't tell you a lie. I know this might sound crazy to say, but losing your mom was kind of tough 7 years ago. But when I found I got that, it kind of threw me for a little loop. I mean, it actually probably stuck me because my mom had some issues going on. I ain't really, this shit kind of threw me off for a tailspin because I give him credit for always making sure me and some of my homeboys that was on the uneven side of the track, he made sure that we did not go to prison or anything like that. So shout out to Alvin. Thanks for, like I said, looking out for me when things were on the cups and getting really crazy in 2006, 7 through 10. So that's how life be. Sometimes you got people look out for you when you ain't even looking out for yourself. My brother having surgery this weekend for dialysis, a friend actually, but that's another story. A lot of things going on. Even though you got a little, almost got to it the other day on the court, but it's all fun and games, right? So
you said you and somebody almost got to it on the court.
Not me. I said him, not me. I mean, I would have got him. I had to probably get involved, but I mean, hey, look. The good thing about it is a lot of guys knew each other. The good thing is a lot of guys knew each other, and 15 of them jumped up before I could even get my foot in there. Because the guy told the other guy, man, I'm talking to him, but if you're gonna tell me to calm it down, he told him, fuck you then too. And then that shit started off everybody getting up. So that's how it works. Yeah. My buddy was like, he just was like, I never heard of some guys coming to a basketball court and he was like, they come to a basketball court. It's two of you. You don't be here. Everybody else is out there, and you just start talking crap to everybody. He like people get seriously hurt that way. And then he was like, another thing I didn't understand is that why would you talk smack to a bunch of guys that's already drinking beer? It just doesn't make sense. So that happened the other day, but I mean, look, man, that happened on Sunday, man. But it just, I kind of was like, yo. But like I said, the guy actually did come back, and after it was all over, he did, come and shake hands and say, hey, look, man, we got a little animated and stuff like that, blah blah blah. Sorry, because like I said, things like that do end up tragic sometimes. But like I always say, man, we gotta tell you, man, that same day I think somebody got shot at. I tell you ever since damn March, it's been like wow. I told you the man got hit in the road rage incident the other day around this motherfucker too. But 4th of July coming up. Watch out. They said there could be some storms, but watch out 4th of July, of course, because you never, they're gonna tell you about all the shootings that happened on the 4th of July. So,
well, I want everybody to join in with me and just say happy White History Month, 4th of July.
Man.
White History Month.
4th of July. And I do mean July.
July. 4th of July.
Because we know they do.
And like I said, so this would be the what did that young lady tell me the other day? She told me that I was 30. She like, you'll be 38 or something. She was like, what did she say? Something crazy. She was saying that,
oh, you got a birthday this month.
I'll be 38. She was like, you're going to she was like, we got to do some she wanted, what do you call it? What's that thing? God, what do you call that thing? What is this? Want to go zip lining or something like that or some shit like that. I like, yeah, zip lining. Yeah, okay. But
it sounds like a junior junkie.
Mm-hmm. But I was like, look, if you want to do that, that's maybe all right. But I like. But then to come back and say something, you out, hanging out, and this was kind of weird. One of them told me, you go to a lot of events or whatever. She like you had one of my young buddies with you. You helping him with his business. She was like, next time you go, why you ain't bring me? Or you could have told me to come. I'm looking at her. I'm like looking at her like, ain't you married, yo? She was like, she like, and what? So what? She said, at the end of the day, I might be married, but I run this. Okay, yeah, interesting. That's how it goes these days, Married, single life, that's how it goes.
The trashy indoctrination of these women, man. Just trash, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Who's running the world?
I'm gonna. I have to tell you this. I had to tell you this one off air, but this because this is a wild shit. I can elaborate, but I'm gonna tell you this one off air. This is a little bit kind of drastic here. And but I just put it this way: it's a happy wife, happy life, but happy doing other things that don't involve. It called like Joe, doing all the things your man won't do. That's how I explain this. But go ahead, Frank. Shout out your information. I have to tell you about this shit. I tell y'all, this shit is gonna blow your goddamn mind. Yo, I gotta tell y'all this.
Tell me, man.
Go ahead, shout out your information.
Yeah, man. Well, shoot, we got to keep it going, man. Keep the dialogue on. I was on my boys' platform yesterday, man. We just got to get, I just like we've been talking about, man. I strongly think we should start our own political party, man. We got to change everything, change the dynamic, get off this whole bullshit two-party system bullshit. We got to get off this whole norm. If you got to look at it like this, if we still gonna keep going by the norm standards, then it's still gonna be the same old shit. You see what I'm saying? If we don't change, and we're gonna keep going. You see what I'm saying? Into the same old paradox, man. That shit it doesn't make any sense. We got to really exercise our political power, man. We have to really show, you see what I'm saying, that we want a difference, we want change. We got to make change within ourselves. Just like Dewan B made it, put that good video out last night about how they, spend billions of dollars undermining us instead of just spending $1 billion. You see what I'm saying? Into keep having us maintain jobs, having us maintain, putting more money into the economy, stimulating infrastructure, more housing for us, more or developing for us, anything like that. They'd rather give it to the damn illegals. You see what I'm saying? And it makes sense too, because a lot of these people out here in California, they're bought and paid for, especially the people that look like us, and not even just that. They're probably with illegal immigrants, they damn self, like Karen Bass. And then a lot of them are Hispanic or whatever, all these other races, Asian and all this foolishness. So, you know what I'm saying? So we really got to just see, man. And I think they're the worst, honestly, the people that look like us, that sell us out, are worse than the damn immigrants. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you got to look at it like this. You're going to get in where you fit in. If you're an immigrant, you're going to get in where you fit in. Shit. But see, it's the people that are making these policies that are, enabling these people. I think that they're the problem. And like how they just keep saying ICE and all this and raid and all this stuff. They want you to not focus on these companies and corporations that are hiring these people over you and putting money and stuff like that over you, donors, all that, politicians, you name it. You see what I'm saying? So we got to keep our eyes on the prize. Man.
Okay, now let me say something about that. Mm-hmm. That's a big side because number one, mm-hmm. I already told you they're trying to see they spoon some of those immigrants out of certain fields. The South Africans are coming to be the farmers. You gotta understand it.
Facts. Okay. And just like you got
1,000 South Africans that probably gonna be here by September 30th, maybe even earlier, if they're not already here. That's one thing. All right, cool. Number two, mm-hmm. that your hotel and travel industries, right? Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, they are gonna keep the immigrants in those fields, they actually said they had the right to petition it. Now watch this. The crazy part is I just talked to a girl the other day who was traveling. She just became, a lot of women I know becoming travel agents these days. I gotta find out what's the kick on this thing because they have become a lot of travel agents. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. I gotta talk to him about this shit. I had one of them that was coming over. Matter of fact, she was actually at the Nitty trial. Come to think about it, one of them was. She's actually from New York, but she's a travel agent. She be gone for like 30 days at a time and doing all these daggone trips and stuff. And going to India, Bangladesh, Thailand, and some stuff she didn't do in the States. She's me and her okay, but we're okay, but a lot of things, get on. But shout out to her and she, her endeavors. But she was sometimes people get mad with you. We're not mad with you, but you ain't trying to go on all these this kind of fan stuff, Candlelights by Rihanna and things like that. The tribute to Rihanna. I say, wait, man, I ain't doing all this shit. I just said, man, you do that on your own, holler later, and then got mad. So yeah, what it is, but yeah, she did the trial though. So I mean, hey, she got to sit in the courtroom and see it. But yeah, what it is. Go ahead, Chak, shout out your information.
I actually didn't shout out my information.
Oh, I thought you did, man. My bad. I thought you did. No, I had got up. Hey, look, I ain't got up and went downstairs.
No, you. It's all good because you just, what I'm saying, give me the, you just gave me the little reality check. You're right, bro. That's right. This is like 3 weeks old information right here. You was talking about. You're right. He sure did say, and I remember they was getting on him. The donors that are in the travel and hospitality industry was getting on him like 3 weeks ago. You're right. He's going to keep a lot of these people. And guess what? That's why ICE, if you notice, ICE is not hitting these industries. And you're right. It's all a psyop. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying this, like the psyop with, I think that psyop with him and Elon Musk is to give these South Africans cover. That's part of it. You see what I'm saying? That's giving us to not think about the South Africans no more. You see what I'm saying? And it's immigration. But you're right. They're going to have them do the farming. And see, that's the psyop too, how you got all these white people online talking about they want black people to do their farming and all that. That's all this is just race baiting, BS psyop. You know what I'm saying? To get the views up, clickbait, get the views up, YouTube channels up, bullshit. But you're right. You're absolutely right, man. I mean, damn. I mean, so that's
I don't have a problem with farm. The farming thing is not a problem for me. But the farm thing is actually, to tell you the truth, that's how you grow your food. But my thing is the farming thing with them, they already had the contract, which you showed me with JD Vance had a party in with Ace Trader. That was more so my gripe with it. Yeah, so I mean, but look, I got tomatoes, I got peaches, I got watermelon, avocados. What the fuck? Right. So but go ahead and charge your basis.
Yeah, man, that's real. So yeah, man, y'all can just hit me up, XX Frank Nitty XX on here on Instagram, and then Frank Jones 8115 on Instagram, man. Just holler at me. I do a show of them all.
Yeah, you good, man. I just no, man. I had to go there. I had to go downstairs. I thought you shouted. I had to go downstairs and check stuff too. It was raining like I don't know what I hear. And I realized I left my phone in the other room because I was making sure it charged. So just in case the power goes out, because I told you last couple weeks, man, they got power going out around this year. Motherfucker been out of power for a day or at least 13 hours and stuff. So
what is Duncan Yunkin? What is he doing about it? Dunkin' Donut, Yunkin, what is he doing about it?
Not a damn thing.
See,
but shit, Yunkin ain't got nothing but 4 more months, man. Yunkin about to be out, bro.
Lame duck. I mean, well, I'm not saying lame, but I'm just saying lame duck because him with Trump, we got two women running for governors, Winston Sears and Abigail Spanberger.
So yeah. So, but yeah, Yunkin, I mean, like I said, they put the new bills in the day. The cyberbullying thing, I'm like, we're gonna see how far they go with this shit. But It's wild. Like I said, man. Like I said, I mean, hey, look. But I know them goddamn people. Watch out going through New Kent, including my damn self, because I go through there quite a bit to do business. So, yeah, I would be very aware of that. Because they are putting them automated cameras up. If you speed through a work zone, I'm trying to tell you, they probably can send a ticket for about $250. So probably $500 actually. So because they willing to give them up a $500 ticket for being on a cell phone while driving. I don't know. They can tell them what they can do through their work zone. But shit, go ahead, Chak. Shout out to everybody, man.
Yeah, man. When you get a chance, check out the TPS, man. That's what some of this shit is, man. It's temporary protected status that, you know what I'm saying? The Trump administration ended, but he actually tried to do that 2017 when he was in office. And beginning the court's been blocking and delaying it. And temporary protected status is they give temporary protection to certain immigrant nations or states, countries and stuff, like they said, you know what I mean? In case of natural disasters, certain little conflicts that's going on in their particular homeland, they allow them, temporary protection. Now, Haiti, Nepal, Sudan, I think El Salvador, can't think of the other names. There's like 2 or 3 other countries that he had been, saying that, hey, the condition is well, they just said that now with the Haiti. That the conditions was back to normal, so the temporary status, the people, they can go back home. They can go back to their home country now. You know what I'm saying? So, it may look like malicious because they're not going to stop immigration because the federal government was created to regulate commerce, foreign and domestic commerce. So they're gonna always bring some people in and out. That ain't gonna never not be a part of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Because as you know, the more information you gain, that's the reason why indoctrination is so prevalent. Schooling, it's because the more people gain information. Man, hold on. I've been going to school this long. I've been working this job. You still pay me $5 an hour? So they're gonna always. That's gonna be a high. They're always gonna need other people to come in, the slave labor class. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You working a job 10 years, you just be getting paid $5, $7 an hour. How the hell is minimum wage in the United States of America still $7 an hour in some states?
I know that's crazy.
Huh?
That's crazy, bro.
As rich as the United States is where they got rich off.
Actually, wait a minute. You know what? It's still $7 an hour in most states. I'm gonna tell you why. Watch this game.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm talking about even if it's $15 an hour. You know why? Because a lot of them states where it went up to the minimum wage, all they did was say, okay, we're gonna give you extra. We're gonna give you extra on the base pay, but they cut the hours, and then you come out basically the same. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they cut the hours, then they raise the inflate taxes, the money you got to pay for land. Business tax, land tax, gas tax, trade tax. We are paying the tariff, man. Once again, people need to understand it. We've been paying this damn tariff since since fucking IRS. We've been paying the damn tariff tax. Reason why they've been taxing us so damn much. Every product that we buy, we pay a tax on it. I never understood that, Frank. Bro, if you saying that I come in your store, right, and I'm going to go buy a mop. The mop is what, $4.50 or some shit, $4.99, $5, maybe $7. And say I get 5 or 10 more items. Bro, why the hell is they taxing me? I'm paying the price of the fucking product. Why do I have to pay a damn tax when I get to the cash register? What is that? You're paying the tariff. That company, whatever that company, organization, whoever is shipping that shit, you're paying their goddamn tariff fee. They just delayed what they call it, deferred the tariff to your motherfucking ass. They tagging us, the damn the consumers, the patrons. We paying the goddamn on tax. The tariff that these motherfuckers supposed to be paying. No, who came up with that great idea?
Ooh.
We need to do a research on that. Who came up with that great ass idea?
And that's why I don't like the pick. That's why I don't like the finger pointing from Trump and all these, and just whoever, Biden, all these motherfuckers that get in this is bullshit. It's fake.
Yeah, because ain't none of them changing. Ain't no one. They don't have the power to next. I mean, they can, but there's so many people, like you said, Frank, that's associated, that's got their hands in it. Corporations and stuff, non-government organizations and stuff, agencies and stuff that benefit off of taxes, man, heavily. You know what I'm saying? They benefit, and then guess what? If they get charged tax, but if they get charged tax, but they're allowed to defer their tax debt to you, to the consumer. What is a scam? They've been running a goddamn scam.
Super scam.
We've been getting scammed, bro. So this July, 4th of July is the White History Month, man. It's just you ain't seen nothing yet, though. You thought you'd seen some stuff. They finna really pull off some stuff on you, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Right. It ain't happenstance that Diddy trial. It was the time they scheduled it, and it's about to end right around 4th of July.
Facts.
That ain't happenstance. That's manufactured. You know what I'm talking about? Scheduled. You know what I'm talking about?
Facts.
Yeah, well, go ahead and think.
So yeah, y'all can tap in with me, man. Chak on Instagram. I think Chak on YouTube. I think.
And the Diddy thing is gonna be what they call a take one, lights, camera, right in time for Independence Day. But the question
Independence, but now technically today is Independence Day. The second, because remember, they moved the date up to the 3rd or to the 4th or some shit, but it was like really the 2nd or some shit, the 1st or the 2nd.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I was saying they doing it around Independence Day. The question is, I say in closing, and maybe we gotta find this out. Who's independence? It's the question. All right. There you go. That's the question. You figured out who's independent. But I know one thing. This country under the British Commonwealth. So it must have been their damn independence. Because it can't be yours.
Well, you know what? It's funny because a lot of things did come up out of the Virginia area. Because we got to remember, Virginia.
I said British Commonwealth, though. Yeah, but you're right, Virginia too. But I said British Commonwealth.
They was in doing business with each other. Yeah, they're doing business with each other. Still doing business with each other. They ain't stopped. What the hell we talking about? That American Revolution was some bullshit. The lie they told in that shit, that story, nigga. I don't believe none of that story they told, bro. Fake bullshit.
Hey, look.
Another lie.
It's called a Declaration of Independence, would mean a declaration of war.
There you go. There you go, because it don't make sense for you to declare. Now, hold on. Before you go, let me just put this back. Now, how the hell you gonna tell me that you a servant? You an indentured servant, and you got your bold ass is able to declare an independence from a whole goddamn country with a military and all that allegedly funded your motherfucking ass to come over here and work for them, build a colony for them, an annex, because that's all it really is, a colony, annex, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
An olive branch. You know what I'm saying? Where did you get the balls to say, I want to be independent from Britain? Where? That makes sense to y'all? And they just let that ride. The money that they spent allegedly for these people, allegedly funded these people to come over and create these colonies and stuff, trades, and you just gonna let that go, Frank? Damn, all the motherfuckers that y'all sent over, you gonna let that go?
Good point.
Really? Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's like the slavery thing and work. That shit is slavery, man. It's like, that's why I don't know, man. Oh man, 14th Amendment, all this shit. Dude, we still under this shit, man. We still slave. It's just still having to clock in and clock out, work for somebody, bro, and then it's off slavery, and then you get indoctrinated to do it because of school. They don't even. That's what they teach you how to do. Is memorize, do this shit so you can work for some corporation one day and be a good member of society. Like, dude, come on, man.
School.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were supposed to get educated, not supposed to get schooled, Frank. Goddamn.
Facts. Horace Mann. We could thank Horace Mann and people like Rockefeller for that.
There you go. The Carnegie Hall. Speaking of why y'all talking about the and this ties right in too, Bernard, with farming and agriculture, like you said. People do your history and research on how did these agricultural colleges and stuff, these AME, all these agricultural colleges and stuff came about, universities. It was through Rockefeller. They wanted to, they think that the South, and the South would consider Virginia on down was considered the South. Don't forget that. The South, they considered the South was Virginia. Anything from Virginia going on down was considered the South. It's still really kind of considered the South in their mind, right? It's a lot of, and that's a lot of Indian territory. That's a lot of farmland. That's a lot of, you know what I'm talking about? That's a lot of farming there, Frank. You do get a lot of farming done. There's a lot of them from Virginia all the way down to, like you say, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, all them areas. You know what I'm talking about? Kentucky.
You know
all
what?
these areas are big farm areas.
Come think about it. I tell you, I met a girl in Florida, Orlando. She told me Virginia men is weird. I said, really? Where you getting that from? She like, they're not as nice as the Florida men. I said, why? She like, the Florida men give you more nice things. I said, yo. I said, you know what? I don't know how to respond.
It's a difference between she used some motherfuckers is tricking, openly tricking on them. That's pretty much she trying to tell you.
That's what she's trying to say. I get it.
They don't have no problem with tricking on you. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
It's open. You heard T-Pain say, I'm in love with a stripper.
Yeah, he did say that, didn't he? Yeah. No, okay. Well,
shout out to all the strippers out there and the bartenders. Keep on doing what you do.
I told her kick rocks. But yeah, shit. but yeah, take your time, man. Don't kick. You don't have to kick rocks. But I damn sure told her to kick rocks. All right, take your time.
Yeah.